The Rise and Fall of the Aztec Empire, Vertical Bar, 15th Century History Documentary. Picture a shimmering city, rising from the waters of a vast lake. Its temples glow golden under the morning sun. Its streets bustle with merchants, nobles, and warriors. This was Tenochtitlan, the heart of the Aztec Empire, one of the most extraordinary civilizations the world has ever seen. But the Aztec story is not just one of glory. It is also a story of prophecy, conquest, sacrifice, and tragedy. In this video, we'll travel back to the 15th century to explore the rise and fall of the Aztec Empire, a tale that still echoes through history today. From wanderers to builders, the Aztecs, also called the Mexica, were once nomadic people wandering across Mesoamerica. They were outsiders, poor and unwanted by the dominant tribes of the Valley of Mexico. Yet, they carried a prophecy. Build your city where you see an eagle perched on a cactus, devouring a snake. In 1325, on a swampy island in Lake Texcoco, they found that very vision. With little more than determination, they began constructing what would become Tenochtitlan, a city that would surpass even the great capitals of Europe in size and splendor. At first, life was hard. The island was marshy and food was scarce. But the Aztecs were innovative. They created chinampas, floating gardens built on the water, where they grew maize, beans, and squash. Slowly, they turned a swamp into a thriving metropolis. The rise of an empire. By the 15th century, the Aztecs were no longer outcasts. Through a strategic alliance known as the Triple Alliance with two neighboring city-states, they began to conquer vast territories. Under leaders like Itzcoatl, Moctezuma I, and Ahuitzotl, their empire expanded rapidly. Tributes poured into Tenochtitlan: cacao, feathers, obsidian, gold, and even human captives. The empire's capital became a jewel of the New World. With a population of nearly 200,000 people, Tenochtitlan rivaled or even surpassed European cities like London or Paris. Its causeways connected the city to the mainland, aqueducts supplied fresh water, and bustling markets offered goods from across Mesoamerica. For the Aztecs, war was not just about territory. It was also about capturing prisoners for rituals, an idea deeply tied to their religion. Gods, myths, and blood. To understand the Aztecs, we must understand their gods. They believed the universe was fragile, always at risk of collapsing into chaos. The most important deity was Huitzilopochtli, the sun and war god. The Aztecs believed the sun required nourishment, human blood, to rise each day. Without sacrifice, the world would end. This belief gave rise to the infamous rituals of human sacrifice. Captured warriors were taken to the towering Templo Mayor, their hearts offered to the gods in ceremonies witnessed by thousands. While shocking to us today, to the Aztecs, these rituals were sacred acts necessary for survival. Life in Tenochtitlan. But Aztec society was not only about war and sacrifice. It was also rich in culture, knowledge, and daily life. Education was mandatory for all children, rare for the time. Boys learned to fight and farm, while girls learned weaving, cooking, and trade. Nobles studied astronomy, mathematics, and history. The Aztecs created complex calendars to track the stars and seasons. Their markets, like the one at Tlatelolco, astonished Spanish visitors with their size and organization. Thousands of merchants sold food, pottery, clothing, jewelry, and exotic animals. Chocolate, made from cacao, was a luxury drink for the elite. Feathered costumes, crafted from tropical birds, dazzled the eye. Poetry and song flourished, celebrating both war and love. This was not a primitive world. It was a sophisticated civilization, advanced, artistic, and deeply spiritual. Strangers from the sea. In 1519, a new force arrived on the shores of Mexico. Ships carrying Spanish explorers led by Hernán Cortés landed on the coast. To the Aztecs, These men were unlike anything they had ever seen, armed with steel, horses, and gunpowder. Some even believed they might be connected to old prophecies about the return of a god. At first, the Aztecs welcomed the newcomers with gifts of gold and hospitality, but Cortés saw opportunity. He formed alliances with tribes long oppressed by Aztec rule, turning former enemies into powerful allies. The stage was set for a clash that would change the Americas forever. The fall of Tenochtitlan. Tensions grew and violence erupted. Battles raged between Aztec warriors and Spanish soldiers. Though the Aztecs were fierce fighters, the Spanish possessed weapons the Aztecs had never faced: guns, steel swords, and cannons. But perhaps the deadliest weapon was invisible. Smallpox, a disease carried by the Europeans. It swept through the Aztec population, killing thousands, including their emperor, Cuitlahuac. In 1521, after months of siege, starvation, and relentless fighting, the once mighty city of Tenochtitlan fell. The great temples were torn down, replaced by Spanish churches. The Aztec Empire, the most powerful force in Mesoamerica, was no more. Legacy of the Aztecs. Though their empire was destroyed, the Aztecs' legacy lives on. In Mexico today, many words from the Aztec language, Nahuatl, remain in everyday use. Chocolate, avocado, tomato, coyote. The very symbol of Mexico, the eagle on a cactus, devouring a snake, comes from the Aztec founding myth. Their knowledge of agriculture, architecture, and astronomy continues to inspire. And their story reminds us how quickly great civilizations can rise and how swiftly they can fall. Emotional ending. The Aztec Empire's rise and fall is a story of ambition, brilliance, and tragedy. From a humble prophecy to a mighty city on water, from sacred rituals to a clash with foreign invaders, their history is both beautiful and haunting. And though Tenochtitlan fell, the spirit of the Aztecs remains. In every corner of Mexico, in every word, symbol, and tradition, their memory lives on. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the 15th century. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And come with us next time as we uncover more forgotten chapters of history.